start the program very straight away. And in our midst, we have our Chief Minister, Tarun Goiji. And in our midst, we have President of Assam Pradesh Congress Committee, Bhubaneswar Kolita ji. And in our midst, we have Avinash Pandey ji, General Secretary, All India Congress Committee, and CP Joshi, Secretary, General Secretary, All India Congress Committee. Sir, we are very much fortunate, and the people of Karbi Anglong is grateful for your maiden visit here today. And sir, we all, from behalf of Karbi Anglong, we welcome you, sir, and we welcome you, sir, once again. And sir, we are thankful that you have come openly with open arms to take views of the people of Karbi Anglong. I heartiest welcome to you, sir. Thank you. And in today's gathering, we have different social organizations who has come from different parts of Karbi Anglong. And we have 9 autonomous council over all the region of Assam. So before we proceed with our program, I would like to announce all the participants, all the leaders who has come from all over Assam. We have Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council sir here in our midst, then NCL Autonomous Council, Nadima Hausa, and we have Sonwal Autonomous Council, BTC, we have Bodo Territorial Council, Mising Autonomous Council, then we have Rabha Autonomous Council, Tiwa Autonomous Council, Deuri Autonomous Council, and Pengal Autonomous Council in our midst, sir. Sir, with your permission, we go ahead with our today program. Ya judi kunba kisuman kotha judi hudibole ase open ke hudibo pare. Already amar Rahul ji koise whatever you want to ask, it is your time. Please take your time to ask questions or put your views, opinion, whatever it be. Before speaking, kindly introduce yourself in very short because we have a limited time, please.
Good morning, Rahul ji, and Chief Minister, sir, and President, sir. I'm Diphu Maslai, Executive Member, Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council. So, hearty welcome, sir, to Diphu. We are very happy that you have come here to get to know our problems. You are esteemed honorees, well aware, sir, that the long-standing demand, political demand is going on here. That is for Article 3 or Article 244A, autonomous state. And a state is needed for us for all-round development because the fund allocation which has been made for the autonomous council, it is very meager to meet our demands, to meet our problems, to solve our problems. That is why statehood is required, needed for the all-round development of the these tribal areas, backward tribal areas. Some of the states, small states like Sikkim and all, their areas are small, but population also is less than us, but still they get more fund. That is why we also, in order to get more fund and direct funding, we need statehood. That is our demand. Well, that some of agreement has been made during past years. That is MOU and MOS. Regarding MOU, I want to say, sir, that according to this MOU, for the 30 departments supposed to be transferred to the Autonomous Council, but still 4 departments has not yet been transferred still, saying that certain rules has to be amended. But sir, since this is the commitment of the government in the form of written MOU and rule has to be amended, and is there any difficulty in having amended this rule? Now since 1995, that is almost going to be 2 decades now, and not yet handed over this departments. So that rule has to be amended, and that is as early as possible. That is my first question, sir. And second question is that regarding MOS. MOS has been signed with the UPDS, that is what is called arms organization. But now, ceasefire agreement has been also been going on with the KLLF. But still then, extremist organizations has been insurgency organization is still growing up and going on here in Karbi Anglong. The thing is that I would say that in the MOS, why there should have been that for the cadres, those who have now we have a report that some of these cadres has been again going back to the forest, going back to the jungle. So if there would have been a permanent solution, rehabilitation system, say like a recruitment in the Indian Army, paramilitary forces, or CRPF or Assam Police, etc., whatever it may be, such problems could have been solved. That is my second question, sir. Thank you.
We have a lot of questions to take, so please shorten your question, please. Okay, sir. You don't need to be framed like a question, but put your views and all these things. Yeah, please.
Hello, sir. My name is Leon Ingling. I'm a General Secretary of Karbi Students Association. Sir, I'm privileged to have you in our midst. Sir, first of all, Article 244A of the Indian Constitution has been inserted in the Constitution during the tenure of our late grandmother, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Then, that is the aspiration of the people of Karbi Anglong. She knows that. And in fact, knowing that, why is your government delaying in implementing that Article 244A of the Constitution? I, on behalf of the students' community, request you and appeal to you that you declare on this arena whether you will be able to implement that article or whether it is impossible. It's up to you. Then it's no point of discussion. Sir, this is the genuine demand of the people, legitimate demand of the people, and its constitution. You go against it, you are anti-constitutional, I would say. Therefore, sir, it's a great privilege for us that you are in our midst, and you will be perhaps speaking it frankly and openly to the public in this arena. Thank you, sir.
This is Leon Inglang. Next. Next, anyone who wishes to speak can raise up their hand, please.
It's not
Yes, please continue this side.
Yeah, no, it's working. Sir, I'm Kampa Borgeri from Bodoland Territorial Council. I'm Deputy Chief. Sir, we have 9 autonomous councils in Assam. 3 under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution and 6 under the State Act. Now the councils under State Act, the status is very weak. These are very weak councils because these are not politically and financially empowered. Therefore, we believe that the tribals who have been deprived of the development aspects or prospect earlier, they should be given priority so that they can develop. Therefore, all these 6 councils should be brought under constitutional provision, that is under 6th schedule or any schedule to be created. Then the 3 councils under 6th schedule, this is Karbi Autonomous Council, Bodoland Territorial Council, and Dima Hachau. These 3 councils have been demanding for statehood for last 3 decades or more. And because of that reason, so many insurgency problems came out there. Now we want solution. State government and the central government saying that there is no immediate policy for creation of statehood. But what is the immediate policy to empower them politically and financially? We are saying that the funding system is not correct to the councils. Therefore, there should be direct funding to the councils from the state government. And the plan fund that is given to the councils are very meager. There is no rational bifurcation, division of plan fund to the councils. Therefore, the policy how the plan fund is given to the council should be very clear. As an example, I can give you, sir, that Bodoland, we are having 12.19% of the total population of the state. And in the Bodoland Act, it was written that plan fund will be given accordingly on the basis of population. This is 12.19%. But from the inception till today, we are giving only 3%. So therefore, sir, we need intervention of you. And from the next government that is coming up, coming in this, under your leadership, please take some decisions so that these tribal people can be empowered to develop. Thank you, sir.
So any other autonomous council, please?
Yes.
Which council?
Good morning, sir. I am Ronus Pegu, representing Missing Autonomous Council. That is in the remote Assam-Arunachal border area we have come. So as you have, my colleague Khampa Borgari has mentioned, so apart from the 3 autonomous councils under the 6th schedule to the constitution, the government of Assam has created 6 autonomous councils under state acts. And we must thank our Honorable Chief Minister and the former Chief Minister Hiteshwar Saikia, under whose aegis these autonomous councils have been constituted. And this is going a long way in controlling the, resolving the ethnic unrest in Assam. But then there is a question that these councils, 6 autonomous councils, doesn't have any constitutional sanction. So at times, these councils are being dragged to the High Court, questioning the constitutional validity and challenging the state government's authority or right to constitute such act. And there were petitions to declare the constitution of these councils as unconstitutional or ultra vires. So under these circumstances, as on today, we do not have any constitutional recognition. All these autonomous councils and the tribal people, they have been demanding 6th schedule status. So it is our appeal to you that we should have constitutional recognition. The only constitutional provision for autonomy under Indian Constitution is the 6th schedule. So this Missing Autonomous Council, Tiwa Autonomous Council, Rabha Hasang Autonomous Council, Thengal Autonomous Council, Deuri Autonomous Council, and Shunwal Kosari Autonomous Councils. All these councils should be brought under the 6th schedule to the Constitution. Number 2, as the BTC people and the Karbi Anglong, they have already stated, the fund allocated to these councils are very meager. Now, for example, our council, we have a total population of 8.66 lakhs. But we are given the amount which is sanctioned as a plan fund, that is too meager. Then there is again, it is not reflecting, it is not proportionate to the population. So our appeal that the plan fund allocation to the autonomous council should be enhanced. Then thirdly, these are new councils. Karbi Anglong was constituted long back in the 50s. But BTC, after that, after creation of BTC was given a special package by the central government for construction of its infrastructure. But these councils, or the other 6 councils, have not been given any special fund, any package for construction of their required infrastructure to run as an autonomous council. So the special package should be given, and to run the continued functioning, the non-plan fund should be enhanced. And this is my humble appeal to you. Thank you, sir.
Next, please, for NCL Autonomous Council CM. Sound this side, please.
Hello. Hello, sir. I'm Devjit Thausen. I'm Chief Executive Member, NCL's Autonomous Council. I don't have a question as such, but I want to, on behalf of my council, I would say we have full faith in your leadership, and we have certain matters which are pertaining especially to our district and the council. We have certain other matters, but they are being looked after by the state government under able leadership of our Chief Minister Sri Tarun Gogoiji. But certain matters need intervention of the central government, and so we need your special attention to that. So these are quite long, but we have written it in detail in the memorandum which is near you. And at the same time, we would like to felicitate you with our souvenir, sir. We would request you to go through it in your good time, leisure time. Thank you, sir.
Next, please, any Autonomous Council more?
Good morning and welcome to Sri Rahul Gandhi ji. I, on behalf of Sunwal Autonomous Council, CEM Dandi Sunwal. Sir, I have no question, but I have a request to you, and I know you will do and fulfill our problems. Sir, my brother has already told you that we, this 6 Autonomous Council, Satellite Autonomous Council, have no any infrastructure, sir. So I want to kind attention to you that you have provided this to us and for our tribal people. Thank you, sir.
Next, any Autonomous Council? Please introduce yourself.
Good morning, sir. I'm Kumud Chandra Kosari, Chief Executive Member of Thengal Kosari Autonomous Councils. My friend Ronus Pegu, Khampa Boygari and Sonwal, they have said everything. To the same problem of our council also. We have one memorandum. I'll submit this. Thank you, sir.
Next, please, anyone else from any Autonomous Council? One from each Autonomous Council can speak, please.
Thank you, sir. I am Sitankeshwar Abbas, Chief Executive Councillor of Rabah Autonomous Council. आज very खुशी का दिन है, खुशी का बात है, इसलिए हम लोग हमारा जो काउंसिल है सारे के सारा इलाका गुवाहाटी सिटी के अंदर में है, आसपास में है, इसलिए हमारा ये मूल डिमांड 2 है, जो जैसे हमारा जो इल्डर बड़ा रणुस पे says that we have been so many problems in facing regarding the financial, regarding the political facing by the non-6 Autonomous Council. But in case of Rabah Autonomous Council, we have seen यदि ये राभा ऑटोनॉमस काउंसिल ये गुवाहाटी के नज़दीक में है तो भी ये इतना सारे इलाका ऐसा है जो ये आफ्टर 18 इयर्स के बाद ये काउंसिल इलेक्शन हुआ है, तो इसलिए इलेक्शन होने के बाद इसलिए जो इलेक्शन करा इसलिए हमें चीफ मिनिस्टर को हम धन्यवाद देना चाहेंगे, WT मिनिस्टर धन्यवाद देना चाहेंगे। इसलिए हमारा मूल डिमांड ये है, हमारा जितना पॉपुलेशन पैटर्न है चाहे अराउंड 6 लाख पॉपुलेशन वी हैव द राभा ऑटोनॉमस काउंसिल, बट वी हैव नॉट रिसीव्ड मनी एज पर द पॉपुलेशन पैटर्न। अगला डिमांड ये है क्योंकि हमारे राभा ऑटोनॉमस काउंसिल का बारे में खुद कुछ लोग अभी सुप्रीम को छोड़ा गया है, तो ये काउंसिल का स्क्रैप डन कराना है, तो इस मांग के उन लोगों का डिमांड ऐसा है कि क्योंकि ये जो इट्स नॉट अंडर द 6 ऑटोनॉमस काउंसिल अंडर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, सो दैट्स व्हाई दिस शुड बी स्क्रैप डन। सो दैट्स व्हाई आई अपील to take the necessary step in this regard. That's why I have written everything in my memorandum, so I would like to submit this memorandum on behalf of Rabah Autonomous Council. Thank you.
Next, we have in our midst 9 Autonomous Council. The rest 7 has spoken, given their views. Now Tiva and Diori Autonomous Council left. Okay, done. Now anyone else?
Sir, I, on behalf of the Kansas Dicom Karbi Anglong NCL Autonomous State Demand Committee and 5 committees, spearheading for autonomous state under 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution since 86, now already completed more than 27 years, but not yet implemented. So we are sorry for central government apathy for the delaying implementations of Article 244A. And we would like to submit a memorandum on behalf of the Kansas Dicom to you.
See, though you have your microphone, until and unless we point out, you should not be speaking. Okay, please. Please keep that in mind. All of you be seated. We'll point who will need to speak. Next, come please.
राहुल जी, आपको कार्बी आंगलोंग दिमा हसाओ लोकसभा तरफ से हार्दिक स्वागत, युवा कांग्रेस तरफ से और NSY तरफ से। तो आप आज इधर आया हम लोग का क्षेत्र में, हम लोग बहुत खुशी मिला। पहले बार भी हम लोग मिल चुके थे, लेकिन ऐसा बात नहीं हो पाया। सब आप सुन पाया है, हम लोग का एक ही मूल है। कार्बी आंगलोंग डिमा हसाओ मेन प्रॉब्लम है हम लोग का आर्टिकल 244A, ये जल्दी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन करना है, क्योंकि 1956 से 1954 से हम लोग सेपरेट स्टेट डिमांड किया था और 1960 से हम लोग APLCLC हम लोग का पॉलिटिकल पार्टी थे, वो डिमांड किए थे सेपरेट स्टेट। लेकिन तब हम लोग का प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे इंदिरा जी, हम लोग को सेपरेट स्टेट नहीं दिए गए थे, लेकिन ऑटोनोमस स्टेट दिया मेघालय को। तब हमको एक मौका दिया था कार्बी आंगलोंग डिमा हसाओ के लिए। हम लोग कार्बी आंगलोंग डिमा हसाओ आदमी लोग, लीडर लोग नहीं लिए, तो इसलिए आपको रिक्वेस्ट करता है कि हम लोग जो लॉन्ग स्टैंडिंग इंदिरा जी ने हम लोग को कार्बी आंगलोंग डिमा हसाओ इंडिजिनस पीपुल को ऐसा मौका दिया है कि आर्टिकल 244A रख के गया है। इसलिए जल्दी ये इम्प्लीमेंट करना है, क्योंकि इस आर्टिकल से हम लोग बहुत प्रॉब्लम हुआ है। DSD, UPDS, KNLF, KPLT, KNV, ऐसा बहुत आतंकवादी एक्सट्रीमिस्ट ग्रुप फॉर्म किया है। इसलिए आपको रिक्वेस्ट करता है कि जल्दी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन करना है। और दूसरा बात है, असम में कितना युवाओं को लोकसभा में आप टिकट देंगे, और हम लोग का जहाँ कार्बी आंगलोंग डिमा हसाओ में युवाओं को आज तक टिकट नहीं दिया है। क्यों नहीं दिया है? ऑटोनोमस काउंसिल में तो एक ही आदमी है, एक ही फैमिली है, यहाँ अभी चल रहा है। तो इसलिए जो लोग काम करने चाहता है, इंटेलेक्चुअल, टैलेंटेड, एजुकेटेड, वो लोग आना चाहता है, लेकिन हमेशा हम लोग का दरवाजा ब्लॉक है। तो इसलिए हम लोग का चांस चाहिए। वी वांट चांस, आवर प्लेस, आवर कंट्री। सो आई वुड लाइक टू रिक्वेस्ट, प्लीज change our place, change our candidate. That's all. Thank you.
So we have enough speech from the gents side. So next we go to the ladies side, please. Anyone from among the ladies, please.
Good morning, Rahul ji. My name is Kuntila Ronghangpi, Vice President, Assam Pradesh Mahila Congress Committee. First of all, I would like to convey a heartiest greetings to you, sir, for your maiden visit to Karbi Anglong. And especially, sir, your visit to this part of Assam has boosted up the minds of the party workers especially. I would like to take the privilege, sir, to thank you especially for your speech which you have delivered on the empowerment of women at the AICC session. You have spoken on that day that you will stick to the principle of giving more facilities for the women to come to politics. And categorically, you have also said that you wish to see about 50% of the Mahilas to be the chief ministers of the states. So, sir, on that view and on that inspiration, we do hope that you will, for the coming Lok Sabha election, you will surely carry out according to what you have said, sir. Especially this part of the region, Karbi Anglong, sir, as you have already heard, we have been facing lots of problems, especially due to the militant groups. Our workers, Congress workers, many of their families, many of their dear and loved ones have been lost. Their lives have been sacrificed. Their houses, their properties have been sacrificed, sir. We, especially in this part of the region, the women takes, as well as the youth, take a very important role during the election. We have to go to regions where no vehicle can pedal on the road. We go walking for miles just to bring our party to power so that we, as according to Madam Sonia Ji, man to man, door to door visit should be done so that we can at least be with the common people and help them, sir. Thank you for giving me the privilege of speaking. Thank you, sir.
Any more ladies? Anyone who want to speak from among the ladies, please? Please speak short. Please don't take much time. We have only a few minutes left.
Good morning, everybody. Rahul sir, a hearty welcome in our midst. My name is Teron P. Mili. Recently I got appointment that has been sent to me. That is AICC, Rahul Gandhi, your team. So I am Teron P. Mili, which is my president is Ranuka Begum from Guwahati. So I'm very privileged to get that appointment from you. And sir, as Kuntila ma'am have said in various this thing in your meetings wherever we go, I saw your video while you went to Karnataka, and then previously even in Uttarakhand you have been spoken about empowerment of women. I think this Lok Sabha we are really expecting you even in our place. Man, please don't get jealous, okay? Since Rahul ji has mentioned this in the various meetings. And then one thing, sir, like our land is very rich with all this thing. But I think due to lack of poverty and then no assessment from the government, I think this very good land which is cultivable of every types of crops, that is lacking behind. Like in 2009, I have visited to Rajasthan, which is the driest, which is the driest place. Yet we see the greenest place out there. So like out here, if government assists us in cultivation, I think the Karbi people or the people of this land, they will be very much helpful and they'll be grateful to get the thing from the government side. So last but not the least, I thank you very much for coming into our land, and we hope and look forward we work with you in days to come. Thank you, sir.
So we can only give two more people to speak, please. Please speak short and to the point.
Good morning, sir. I am Surya Rongfar, Deputy Chairman, Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council. I would like to place a few more points which my colleague Diphu Masai have already apprised you. That perhaps you must be aware that Karbi Anglong is one of the largest districts, second after Bastar in MP, and is also one of the oldest autonomous district, autonomous council in India. As sir, you must be aware that, as my colleague has already informed, that Karbi Anglong has been facing different problems, starting with militants and extremists. But in the last few years, this signing of MOU and MOS, it has come down, but then still there exists some other organization. So we have a few points that if implemented by the government of India, it will resolve this problem. First of all, sir, that perhaps our CM has given our memorandum on behalf of the council. It is stated that we have requested for additional funding of some 2,000 crores per annum, so that we will be comparable with other states like Meghalaya, Nagaland, and Mizoram. Because once it was a part of the same excluded and partially excluded area, and then they were given separate state, but then Karbi Anglong and Dima Hasao has been left behind with Assam. And then the plain allocation for Karbi Anglong, it's only 349 crores, but then for Nagaland, it's become 2,300, Meghalaya 3,939, and Mizoram 2,300 crores per annum. And it is much, much different, as we have already apprised you. So that if the MOU and MOS is fully implemented as per clause, and as there is a provision for direct funding to Karbi Anglong, so we have been requested in our memorandum that Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council or other 6 autonomous councils will have direct access with the Planning and Finance Commission, and then direct funding from the central government, so that the fund can utilize for development of Karbi Anglong, and then those extremist problems will be resolved. That's one thing. And another thing is that in the MOS signed recently, some additional department has been is supposed to be delegated to transfer to Karbi Anglong, and then the members also have been increased from 30 to 50.
Please shorten your speech. More people.
Just one minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. And then the elected member has to also increase from 30 to 50. But then if fund is not allocated, then we have our additional resource from KAC is, per annum is some 12 crore only. So that the allocation of fund or that direct funding is necessary for Karbi Anglong. Thank you, sir.
Next, please. Only one person can speak now. Please go ahead. Very short, should be very short.
Kardom Mr. Gandhi. My name is Karsington. I represent the Joint Action Committee for Autonomous State, of which the Youth Congress, Diphu Lok Sabha Committee, and the NSUI Karbi Anglong Unit are also a constituent. Sir, are you listening? The only one burning issue in Karbi Anglong is nothing but autonomous state issue. That is the main issue, that is the burning issue, and that's what we want. We are simple, we think simple, we speak simple, and we can't articulate the way the others community do. So we, the people of Karbi Anglong and NC Hills demand simply the implementation of Article 244A. And this very autonomous state issue has been the cause of Congress defeat. It has been the cause of Congress coming back into power, and should the Congress lose in the next election, it would be the autonomous state issue being the main factor. And that's why I personally request you, I draw your personal attention to this very issue of autonomous state, and we have a memorandum for you, and hope you will go through into it. And when the next Congress government come into the at the center, it will be looked into properly. Thank you.
Next, please. Short and brief, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Yes, good afternoon, sir. I want to draw your kind attention, please. Means I won't be speaking anything new, but all the representatives over here, those who have gathered from different autonomous council, they have only one issue. That is statehood. No other issue. We do go talks about development also, financial problem also. That is running problem. But the main issue is autonomous state issue. See, earlier, it was during the Congress time that Article 244A, my friends, my colleagues and all, they have already stated. Article 244A was inserted in the Constitution in 1971, yes, during Assam Reorganization Act. Mainly because we, the hills people, the tribal, we are a bit, sir wouldn't mind, I suppose, please. Yeah. We are different from the Assamese people, the plains people. We are hills people. And maximum of the hills people have already, like Daganagas, Kuki, Mejos, they got their statehood. They already got their statehood, and they have been far more developed and advanced than us. And it was during your grandmother's times that was inserted in the Constitution by the Congress, number one. Number two, when your dad, Rajiv Gandhi ji, he was the first prime ministerial candidate who came to Karbi Anglong in Diphu Government College. It was way back in something 1988 or 89, somewhere way back like that. At that time also, your dad has promised us that he will solve our issue. Unfortunately, he expired. At that time also, seeing the problem of our hills people, he assured us that something has to be done. At that time, way back in 20, 30 years before also, he had offered us more autonomy, the council. But at that time, our leaders of these two hills district, especially Karbi Anglong and North Kachar Hills, they rejected that, saying that only giving an economic package won't solve the long-standing demand of our people. So what we need is we want to stand on our own feet. We want to serve our people by ourselves. We want to be like others plain people living in India and other tribals living in the northeast.
Yes, Malik, Rahulji has already got your point. Please.
Just he doesn't come over here every day. Please. Yeah.
I've got other programs.
Yeah.
And other people will say that you stayed here and you didn't come to us.
No, that is also so sorry, sir. So
Okay,
that is the
please.
main issue.
He already got your point in details, please.
I am finishing. So this is the main issue. Since this is the main issue, sir, please assure her. And you see, Telangana, people were saying that there is no provision for creating a separate state. For Telangana, you have taken. Jharkhand, you have given. Ours was inserted in 1971. Why not our problem can be solved? And what the people are asking for, if not even a separate state, an autonomous state also will do. Memorandum after memorandum, memorandum after memorandum, assurance after assurance. We have been giving only assurance. But our issue had never been solved. Please take care of that, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahulji, for your patience hearing. This is a fact and this is a reality. And this is the desire and the aspirations of the people of Karbi Anglong. And this has been highlighted by Joyce Milik. We also thank you, and thank you, sir, for your patient hearing. Now we give our microphone next to our Chief Minister, sir. Please, sir.
Sri Rahul ji, Sri Joshi ji, Kalita ji, Avinash ji, then the other two ministers from here, Karsing Ingti, the Pegu, then MPs, then other leaders, all the CM also, 3, and all, of course, 9. 9. Is it for the first time, all the all the tribals, frankly speaking, all the tribal development council, whether it's the hills, whether the plains, for everybody is here today. It's for the first time in the history of India, all the tribal leaders are here with all colorful dresses and expressing their opinion freely, frankly. And we welcome it. Not that we welcome free, frank discussion. Yes, we need discussion. And it is our priority also that tribal people should not be left behind. They should be as advanced as any other part of the country. That is our aim of the Assam also. We are also lagging behind. Our first priority, why Assam should leave behind. You are also lagging behind in some parts of Assam also. That's also facts. Assam in that context also is lagging behind in that context. And that is the reason for which, for the whole history of India, 6th schedule was given by the Congress to the hills of Assam, those days. Of course, today, whether it's in Nagaland, whether it's in Mizoram, the Meghalaya, the whole purpose. But still, it has not served the purpose. I do agree. Though we have been given a 6th schedule, so many autonomy has given also, but still, I do agree that still you are lagging behind. And myself also raised in the planning commission. There are other states gets much more share. Why not Karbi Anglong and North Kachar? It is I first raised in the planning commission, not only once. I was the first man on behalf of all tribal people. I raised myself. Nobody raised it before. And I gave the facts and figure. How much you give to the Mizoram? I know the population of Mizoram and North Kachar and your Karbi Anglong is almost same. But they gave many, many more times. You see, that's a fact. That's no doubt about. I say separate state or the autonomous states, all right, that will go on discussing. But the money part, I say. First, my job is to see that money, it comes to me, comes to your people. I don't say it comes, I don't need my money. I want that money should come to all the tribal people. Same is the case with the Plains tribal also. Today, the Plains tribals are also not getting dues here. I know. I've been telling on the roadway, I say tribal area is still behind. I was talking to Rahul Ji also. Even today, whether hills area, whether plains area, because I know whether it's a Missing, whether it's a Tiwa, whether it's a Rabha or Sunwal Kasari. So I know every communities, their economic condition, their roads, other factors. Yes, we are concerned. That is the reason for which nowhere in India has given this autonomous council. I'm not talking about sixth schedule. I'm talking of the other. And even for the sixth schedule, idea, it was only for the hills areas. It was not in the plain areas. It is I who agreed. The Bodoland people, they know. It is I. I said, no, they should be given. At least. You see, that is my whole priority. Now, of course, your demand I know. Everybody come to us. Our Congress people also demanding. It's not that, it's an anonymous demand of everybody. It's not that only one group or other group is demanding. I know my MPs, I know my MLAs, I know my local leaders, all, whether APLC or NEDs, all the insurgency, it is a fact. It will go on discussing. It's not that you just take a final decision. It will go on discussing. But initially, I want the more funds should come. This is my. And whatever is possible with the existing system, we will definitely empower you. Rest discussion will go on. When the next government will come, definitely we'll take it up. We'll see how far we can accommodate. This is my. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for speaking to the gatherings. No more, no chance. No, since Rajiv ji has another program, he had to go for another program. So now I'm handing over the microphone to him. Please, sir.
Namaskar. I'd like to welcome Gogoi ji, PCC President, General Secretary, and all the leaders and ladies and gentlemen who've come here. Thank you for coming. Should I speak in Hindi or in English? English? Okay. Hindi, English, okay. Hindi is better? I'll do mixed, okay? I'll do half and half, don't worry. So, normally, होता क्या है? भाषण में आते हैं, भाषण देते हैं, चले जाते हैं. और जो आपकी आवाज़ होती है, वो सुनाई नहीं देती है और आपसे बातचीत नहीं होती है. इसलिए हमने ऐसा फॉर्मेट रखा कि हम आपसे बात करें और आपकी बात थोड़ी सुन लें. So normally what happens is political leaders come, they go for a public meeting, they say what they want and they go home. And I wanted to change that. I thought that we should come here, talk to you, listen to you, see what you have to say, and then tell you what we also feel. I've heard what you've been mentioning. You've mentioned the issue of the autonomous state, and you've also mentioned issue of funds. In the car just now, CM Gogoiji and me were talking about decentralization of power and about how there are two different ideas in India. One idea is the Congress party. Kaushal, can I just give you this? One idea is the Congress party's idea, which is power should be given to the people. As much power that can be given to the people, the better it is. And there are other people, other ideas in India which say that there should be. Ye thoda problem de raha hai. Please hold high. Hold high. Close. Okay. And they're saying there is another idea in India that says there should be centralized control, that everything should be run from Delhi. I believe that the more power we give to the people of our country, the better it is for the country, the better the country will develop and the more progress we will have. So I am for decentralization of power, for decentralization of funds. The you mentioned just now that I've been raising the issue of women, कि मैं महिलाओं की बात करता हूं, और इस बात के पीछे वही सोच है कि अगर हम 50% महिलाओं को शक्ति नहीं देंगे तो फिर ये देश कैसे चल सकता है। तो सिर्फ मैं महिलाओं की बात नहीं करता हूं, मैं आदिवासियों की बात करता हूं, दलितों की बात करता हूं, महिलाओं की बात करता हूं, विकलांग लोगों की बात करता हूं, गरीब लोगों की बात करता हूं, क्योंकि जब तक हम लोगों को इन्वॉल्व नहीं करेंगे, जब तक हम लोगों को पावर नहीं देंगे, तब तक ये देश नहीं चल सकता है, खड़ा नहीं हो सकता, और लड़ाई होगी। अगर निर्णय दिल्ली से लिया जाएगा या निर्णय गुवाहाटी से लिया जाएगा तो यहाँ पे लड़ाई होगी, क्योंकि आप लोग किसी ना किसी को लगेगा कि भाई ये बात फेयर नहीं है। If we take decisions, if all the decisions are taken from Delhi, the correct amount of information does not reach Delhi, and there will be fighting here. People will say, why has it been done like this and not like that? So what we want to do is we want to give you as much power as possible to deal with your problems, because you are closer to the issues, you understand the mindset, you understand the tribal way of life, you understand the mountains. We don't. We are far away. So our philosophy is as much power as we can give you, as much power and finances we can give you, the better it is for you and the better it is for us. That is our philosophy. Now, I don't know the details about the statehood issue. You've mentioned it to me, but I'm not an expert on this issue. So it is not possible for me to make these type of commitments without going into detail of what the issue is and understanding it. What I can commit to you is I will spend some time looking at this issue and trying to understand the nuances of the issue and the depth of the issue. But in general, I will tell you that my philosophy is one of decentralizing power. There are two types of states in India. दो तरीके के states हैं हिंदुस्तान में. एक असम, केरला, बंगाल, जहां डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन है, और दूसरा गुजरात, जहां पूरा का पूरा सेंट्रलाइज तरीके से चलता है. मेरी सोच है कि हमें ज्यादा से ज्यादा डिसेंट्रलाइज करना है और सबको शामिल करना है. तो स्टेटहुड के बारे में मैं गहराई से नहीं जानता हूं. मैं आपको यहां वायदा नहीं कर सकता हूं कि भाई स्टेटहुड होना चाहिए, नहीं होना चाहिए, मगर मैं आपको यह वायदा कर सकता हूं कि जो आपकी मांग है उसको मैं समझने की कोशिश करूंगा और उसको स्टडी करूंगा. I spoke to Gogoiji in the car also that regardless of the one issue that you are interested in, we must hand over as much power to local people as possible. So we must decentralize power, and Gogoiji agrees with me. Gogoiji is basically agreeing with me that the more power we can hand to local bodies, the more power we can hand to the councils, the better it is for the people. यहाँ पे there was an issue raised about the Congress party and about the elections. किसने रेज किया था? आपने ही रेज किया था. और आपने कहा कि एक ही व्यक्ति को फिर से टिकट मिलता जाता है, और आपको भी ये खराब लगता है, मुझे भी ये खराब लगता है. मुझे भी अच्छा नहीं लगता है कि एक ही व्यक्ति कांग्रेस पार्टी को हर बार रिप्रेजेंट करे. तो आपने सुना होगा कि इस चुनाव में हमने 15-16 सीट्स में एक नए तरीके से टिकट चुनने की कार्रवाई की है. सुना आपने? असम में एक हुआ, और हमारी सोच है कि आने वाले समय में जो हम टिकट दें, हम एक परिवार को ना दें, एक व्यक्ति को ना दें, मगर आप सब से पूछ के वो टिकट दिलवाएं. आजकल क्या होता है, अगर आप हिंदुस्तान को देखें तो तकरीबन 4,500 MLA सीट्स हैं और तकरीबन 700-750 लोकसभा राज्यसभा की सीट्स हैं. मतलब तकरीबन 5,500 रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स इस देश को चलाते हैं. और अगर आप देखें कि उन रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स को कितने लोग चुनते हैं, तो बहुत कम लोग चुनते हैं. हमारी पार्टी में एक स्टेट में 5-6 लोग चुनते हैं. और मैं चाहता हूं कि यह नंबर बढ़े, कि एक ऐसा दिन आए कि जब हम टिकट की बात करें, सिर्फ गोगोई जी, मैं और सीनियर लीडर ना बात करें, आप लोग भी बात करें, और आपको लगे कि ये हमारा कैंडिडेट है, ये हमारे लिए लड़ेगा, और अगर आपको वो अच्छा नहीं लगा तो आपको लगे कि भैया इसको मैं हटा भी सकता हूं. आज आपको लगता है कि भाई एक परिवार को टिकट दे दिया और अगर आप हटाना भी चाहो आप हटा नहीं सकते। सही बात है ना? मैं आपको वो पार देना चाहता हूं कि अगर आपको अच्छा नहीं लगा तो एक दिन ऐसा है आपको भैया आप जाओ यहां से, हमें दूसरा आदमी चाहिए। तो I'll say that in English also. There are about 4,500 MLAs in this country, and there are about 750 MPs in this country. These are the people who run the country, essentially. You run the country at the local level, but the lawmaking of the country is done by those 750 people. And today, if you look at how many people choose those 750 people, you will find that in each party, in each state, there are 3 or 4 people who choose those people. It's a very few people are making that decision. And what I want to do is, I want to involve all of you in that decision. I want to open that decision out so that average Congress worker, average citizen can say, oh, I can also choose who my candidate is going to be. Not who my MLA is going to be. MLA choice you already make when you go and vote. But I want to give you that candidate choice. That is what I am working towards in the Congress party, which no other party does. Today, if you look at the whole country, approximately 250-300 people decide all our candidates. And when people talk about corruption, that is why corruption happens, because there is too much concentration of power, there's too few people who are involved in these decisions, and I want to open that decision out. I'd also like to say a couple of things about what we've been doing in Delhi over the last 5-10 years. You must have heard about Narega. Have you heard about Narega? You've seen Narega. Right to work. Now we've given the right to food, right to information. All our development is based on the idea of giving people rights. So what we want to do is, we want to give all our people certain minimum rights. Whether it is food, whether it is security, whether it is education, we want to make sure that no matter where a person goes, he is safe and that he has certain minimum protection. Now there was a case in Delhi where a young boy, son of our MLA, was beaten up and killed. Right? Exactly. Nido. He was beaten up and killed. And there is discrimination against youngsters who go from the northeast to Delhi to work there. What we want to do is, we want to give them a minimum floor, that no matter where you go, whether you go to Delhi, you go to Mumbai, you go to Karnataka, that you should have certain minimum guarantees. You should be able to get minimum job, you should be able to get minimum health, you should be able to get minimum education, and you should have minimum security. And it should not be the case that your home is only Meghalaya, or your home is only Assam, or your home is only Tripura. It should be that your home is the whole of India. And if you want to go and work in Delhi or Mumbai or anywhere, you should be allowed to work there and you should be comfortable. आपको लगना चाहिए कि सिर्फ असम आपका घर नहीं है. आपको लगना चाहिए अगर हम अपना घर कर्नाटक में बनाना चाहते हैं तो वहाँ भी हमें अच्छा स्वागत होगा, हमें वहाँ प्यार से जीने की अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी. तो ये हम काम सेंटर में कर रहे हैं. इसीलिए हमने ये राइट्स बेस्ड, अधिकार बेस्ड डेवलपमेंट की बात शुरू की है. भोजन का अधिकार, रोजगार का अधिकार, राइट टू इंफॉर्मेशन. ऑपोजिशन करप्शन की बात करता है, मगर सबसे ऐतिहासिक स्टेप, सबसे पावरफुल स्टेप करप्शन के खिलाफ राइट टू इंफॉर्मेशन था. जो पहले बंद कमरों में हुआ करता था, जो पहले ब्यूरोक्रेट्स जानते थे, आज कोई भी हिंदुस्तान का सिटीजन वो सवाल पूछ सकता है. ये शक्ति आपको हमने दी, कांग्रेस पार्टी ने दी, गोगोई जी और हमारे सीनियर लीडर्स, कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट और प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने दी. तो ये हमारी सोच है कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा पावर हम आपको दें, असम के लोगों को दें, आपको दें, आदिवासियों को दें. ये मैं आपसे कहना चाह रहा था. आपने जो यहाँ कहा मेरे लिए बहुत फ़ायदेमंद है. आपके ज्ञान से मैं सीखता हूँ जहाँ भी जाता हूँ. और जो मांगे आपने, जिस मांगों के बारे में आपने यहाँ बातचीत की है, उसको हम गहराई से समझेंगे और उस पर कार्रवाई लेने की कोशिश करेंगे. आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. नमस्कार.
Sir,